This past Saturday, the 1st of September, we took Teddy over to a neighbor's farm to school the cross country there because she has a lot of land and her cross country course has a lot of cool elements on it, some of which he'd never seen before. And the date is particularly special to me because Teddy actually arrived home last year on September 1st. So as of this ride, I'd had him for exactly 1 year, and it just felt really special and really good to be able to think back to that time last year and think about how far he's come. So we warmed up in her jump arena, and what is I think a little bit difficult to tell from the video is that right across that fence line there, I mean just on the other side of it, there's a whole herd of cattle and a couple of donkeys too, and they're all kind of under that tree right over there. But a lot of our horses, well, I guess a lot of horses in general, tend to have a problem with cattle if they're not raised around cattle or worked around cattle. And we're kind of lucky in that we have a herd of cattle which is kept across the street from our property. So our horses get accustomed to, for example, the sounds of weaning when the calves get taken away from their mothers and they all start mooing for like a week. And the smells and that kind of thing, but we don't really ride them around the cattle because they're across the street. So I expected Teddy to have some kind of reaction to being, about 10 feet away from like 20 of them, but he didn't. He was really level-headed the whole time and didn't seem to mind that they were there, which was a really pleasant surprise. So I'm very proud of him. He's a grown-up boy. So here we finally made it out onto their cross-country course, and we're following my friend Emma and her mare, whose name is Etta. So it's Emma and Etta. And I'm really glad that they came because since this is only Teddy's second time really seeing cross-country stuff, he was pretty hesitant about some elements. Like we had to follow Emma and Etta into the water because he didn't want to step into water, even though he was pretty brave about it at Chat Hills last month.
Good boy.
So for everything that we're doing in this little water complex, just stepping in via the open side and then stepping out over the little log and then stepping in over the little log or stepping out over that slightly bigger one, everything like this we had to follow Etta the first time because Teddy didn't think he could do it by himself.
Come on, Ted. Good boy. Good baby, Ted. So, still a drop. Whee!
So after we schooled the water complex for a little while and Teddy was feeling very brave, we decided to put together a little course. And I had let him look at that first one because I thought it might be a little too open for him to be comfortable with, but it was actually this one, which was more solid, that he had a problem with. And it's just a line of little barrels, like kind of oil drum type barrels. And they're a little bit weather worn from being out here in the elements all the time. But it's the good thing about Teddy is if he has to stop, as long as you let him look at it, you can come back around and he'll be very brave to it the second time.
Super. Looking left.
Now, I wish that we had gotten some video of Teddy being introduced to ditches, because the next thing that we're about to go over is a little ditch, and he had never seen one before today. And he did have to follow Etta the first few times. There's a very small one that's somewhere around, I don't know, maybe like you'd put it on an 18-inch or a 2-foot course, and then there's a slightly larger one that you might put on a beginner novice course, and today we did both of them.
Hey, good boy!
And then we did this little course for a second time, and the second time around Teddy was much braver, but felt like he didn't have to pick up his feet there for some reason.
On that one.
Who knows?
I don't need you. Bless him. Yeah! Good boy! Steady.
So next we decided to move on to the little bank complex that they have out here, and while we were at Chat Hills last month, I did introduce Teddy to up banks, but he'd never done down before, and he was very brave about it.
Stride.
So the last thing that we did this day was another couple of little courses down here at the far end of the field involving the bank complex, and you'll have to excuse the camera work in a second because my friend and her horse started getting bitten by yellow flies, which are very painful. So thanks, Sarah. Sorry. This whole day was just ideal. Honestly, it couldn't have gone any better. He was really, really brave for not having seen a lot of this kind of stuff before, and he really seemed to enjoy himself. I'm so grateful to have him and to have the friends that I do, because without my friends and without Teddy, I don't know what the last year of my life would have looked like. It's safe to say it would have looked very different, but I'm not sure it would have been different in a good way. With Teddy, I am always happy. He never fails to put a smile on my face, and I know that whatever we end up doing, whether he taps out at eventing or loves it, I know I'm going to be happy just being with him.